Well, you are joining us for this Property Tribe's introduction to a new prop tech product. It's called Aucspace, and I'm joined by CEO Andy Mendelsohn. And Andy, we're so delighted to welcome you to Property Tribes. Our aim over the last 11 years has been to build a trusted ecosystem of legitimate products and services for landlords that make their lives easier. And in recent years, we've really been kind of pushing this idea of digital first. And your product fits in so well to the suite of products on Property Tribes. It's called Aucspace, as we mentioned. Andy, tell us a little bit about the genesis of Aucspace.
Thanks for welcoming us, and we're really pleased to be on your platform. Our goal is to reinvent the property auction due diligence process, and this came about from the experience of the founders. So two of our founders, one works on the auctioneer side, the other works on the property development side, and we also had a very early member of the team who was a solicitor, and they all realized that there was a problem here that needed solving. You're interested in a property at an auction, you have to go and download the legal pack, you have to go through it, and then you've got to bid on it, and you might not win it, right? So you've got to go through this as many times as you want to bid on as many properties as there are that you're interested in. And the problem is that firstly, you go to a solicitor, maybe you get a favour from a friend, maybe you pay basically the minimum is £350 to £400 to get somebody to summarise it, or you look at it yourself, or as quite a few people do, you don't look at it at all. Now, every auctioneer says you must look at the legal documents, you must really understand what it is you're buying, but we found that quite a few people don't. And the big factor here is the cost. The cost is prohibitive for some people. If you're a big firm, it's not. So the idea came out of this, well, there must be an easier way of doing this. I was brought into the team very early on, but I was brought in because I have a lot of technical experience. I mean, I've been a chief technology officer, I've also run businesses myself, and I've also been in the space where you try to solve the problem through the technology. We realize that if one solicitor is producing a legal pack summary, it's going to be the same legal pack summary that somebody else would want. Assuming the solicitor's doing the right job, they are summarising a set of documents. So why can't you do one and sell it to more than one? And that gives us that economy. That's why we can do it cheaper, because you're not paying us £95 to do one job, because there's a loss in that. It's not even close to breaking even in that. But if you can sell it to more than one person, then you can start to make money. So a platform, technical solution, a process at the back end to make it all work. And we thought, okay, this has got serious legs. We can seriously make this work and bring amazing amount of value to people who are looking at properties.
Absolutely. And you mentioned there, the cost of a legal, pack and getting it scrutinised. You mentioned 300. Well, I've heard, 450, 550. And of course, this is an expense that you can incur not knowing that you're going to win the bid. And I think that's one of the main reasons why people are slightly reticent for paying for it. But of course, as I always like to say, Andy, the anagram of auction is caution. And many properties are put into auctions because they have some kind of defect or problem, and the owner is hoping that some inexperienced person comes along, doesn't get an auction pack reviewed, and buys it. And I think this is why your product is going to be so incredibly useful to the property investor community, because to pay £95 to have the auction pack scrutinised is obviously, it's a very low amount, and if you don't win the bid, then okay, it's not going to hurt your pocket too much. So I think on the cost side, it's going to really encourage for landlords and property investors to undertake due diligence and mitigate their risk.
Yeah, and the other side is that when you go through this process and you've given a legal pack to a solicitor, if there are changes to that legal pack, do you go back to your solicitor, or do you even notice that there are changes? That's another factor. Now, we know from experience, from looking at hundreds of auction properties, hundreds of lots, how often these things change, and actually how late they can come in as well. So when they change, we know about it, and when we know about it, we update our legal pack. And if you've bought our summary, if you've bought a legal pack summary from us, you get an email. You don't have to poke us and ask us for it. When we've changed it, we mail you, say there's been a change, here's the new legal pack summary, download it. And so that's another plus that we bring, that you're not, you're going to have to go and ask for another favor probably. Oh, by the way, it's changed. Can you have another look at it? Or pay a little bit more money, and it's also the time, a solicitor is doing a lot of things. They're not, I think a legal pack summary is probably at the bottom of their list of priorities often. So, I'll get it done by the end of tomorrow or the day after. We attempt, if they're not done already, we will attempt to have it done within a day if you want it, right? So we will try and make sure that everything is there for you as soon as it's possible for us to produce it.
Absolutely. Now, we are talking in a post-COVID-19 world, and it's very interesting timing for the Aucspace product. Very fortuitous in a strange kind of way, because the COVID-19 and lockdown and the subsequent issues surrounding that has forced a great velocity of change in many, many industries, and also in the auction industry. And we're seeing virtually, I think, across the board, online auctions occurring rather than in-person auctions. And again, your product is going along in harmony with that. You're utilizing prop tech, you're providing an online solution. So I think it's very interesting to look at it in that context, that the whole auction sector is actually undergoing revolution at the moment, and you're part of that change.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's very interesting to watch. We didn't, obviously no one knew COVID-19 was going to occur. It's not a great time to start a business because you don't meet half of your colleagues. You hire people and you have to interview them in some form of silence. But it is really interesting. And I always thought, well, there are opportunities here. And actually, as you've said, it's changing the way people are having to approach the problem and think about the problem. So yeah, COVID-19 is not good timing for anyone, but it's helped to have people realize that there are other ways of doing things and to help facilitate these other ways of doing things. So yeah, I mean, it's very interesting. I have a lot I've been working with online technology since 1990, so way before a lot of other people were. So my life has been around, how do I find a technical solution to this real problem? It's not about finding a solution and then looking for the problem to suit that solution. We actually find problems and go, let's use tech to solve them. So yeah, it's interesting. And auctioneers are very keen on the idea. In fact, the Stretton's auction next week, the 16th, it's Wednesday, the 16th of September. We have a button on every single page of their site, every lot page of their site, that goes straight to the lot page on our site. So, that shows you how much, auctioneers are buying into the idea and recognizing that there's huge value in it. And the value is in transparency and in making sure that people who buy a property or bid on a property know what it is they are bidding and get enough time to understand what it is that they're purchasing or what they're bidding on.
I think, Andy, the other thing of interest is that we've had recently very prolific auction buyer John Howard on Property Tribes, who's been buying at auction for 35 years now. And he says, or he believes, that auctions are going to be one of the biggest sources of property deals in the coming months. And so I think a lot more investors are going to be going down that particular buying route.
If you look at the stats, and I heard this from an auctioneer, so I haven't really backed it up, but there's something like 2% of properties in the UK are sold at auction, only 2% currently. One of our ambitions could be to make that 4%. Why are there only 2% sold? Probably because of issues to do with financing and mortgaging. This could be the first step of, let's make this a bigger market. Let's make it to some people, a safe market. And I'm not saying it's a dangerous market, but if you don't know what you're doing, then it's a market that's fraught with terror. This is a mystical world where people do things that I don't understand. We want to make it easier for people and make it clearer. So if we can increase that market from 2 to 4 or help to be part of it, that would be, that's one of our goals. Whether we achieve that, I guess it's quite a big goal, but being on the long-term goals, yeah, definitely to try and make it easier for people.
Well, we want to be part of helping you achieve that, because you have got a very, very good product for property investors that's going to save them money, time, as you said. And I think also the other thing I wanted to highlight was what a great website you have and what a great resource it is. And there's so much more to do on there. You can go and look at the diary of auctions taking place across the UK. You can click on a particular auction and it displays all the lots. And then, of course, you can order your auction pack once you've had a chance to review the different lots, see what you're interested in. Obviously, property investors can do a lot of different things to help smooth and reduce the risk of the auction buying process.
Yeah, I mean, we look at every single lot and we try to get data on every lot. We handle every lot literally by a person looks at every lot that we list. So it isn't all an automated process. Somebody will look at it, they will make sure the data looks right on it. They'll go and make some secondary calls to add extra data so you can find out what the yields are in that area, or you can find out what the average sale price is for that kind of property. So we've got all that stuff, but also we're going to be adding other tools. So as we go on, we're looking at possibly adding in a calculator to calculate returns. We'll look at, what other bits of data can we extract from it, and we will add an editorial. So for an auction, we want to be able to say, this is the best lot for an investor, this is the best lot for a developer, or not the best lot. This is a lot that we recommend is a good one to look at for an investor or a developer or a first-time buyer. So there are all these elements that we're trying to build into what, as you would describe as a resource for people buying at auction. So yeah, there's a lot there. But you say I appreciate the kind words on the site looking good. We are launching it again in a couple of weeks with a new look. I mean, not entirely new, but cleaning up some bits, because what you look at now is the first site, and what we believe in is constantly iterating on what we do and just getting it better and better, not resting on our laurels. So in a couple of weeks' time, it'll look a little bit different to the way it looks now.
Well, fantastic. And of course, I know that you would value feedback from the Property Tribes community once they've had a chance to have a look around the website and see how it functions. We love getting all that feedback. We have a number of prop tech and fintech products on Property Tribes, and our community has been really useful to those companies in giving feedback. So it's all part of the process. And I think, you've got in-house specialist lawyers. I believe there's currently 2 at the moment who review the packs. So they've got this kind of niche knowledge as well.
Yeah, so they are experienced property solicitors. They've been doing legal packs, conveyancing, everything to do with property for a considerable amount of time. So we don't use people who don't know what they're doing. And having worked for us, so the other thing is we're going to avoid using paralegals. Not that there's anything wrong with paralegals, but we kind of want to get the best people we think they are available to do this job so that we can guarantee the quality of what it is we're delivering. Our reputation relies on us producing the best quality product we can. So yeah, we use people who have the best skills to achieve that. So yeah, we have 2 solicitors right now. We grow this as we need. So I would expect that within about 3 months' time we'll have something like 4 to 6 solicitors. Depends on how many legal packs we're doing at once. So much of it is dependent upon our reach, how we get out there. But our goal is to immediately list everything. If we haven't done a legal pack summary for a lot that someone wants, they just request it and it will be there within a day. So we present it in 2 ways. We have a downloadable PDF. So we don't currently, though this may well change in the next couple of weeks, we currently don't download the PDF to you, but the PDF is downloadable from the site. So the moment you buy it, it's there. Or you, as I said, you maybe have to wait if we haven't produced it yet, but normally it'll be there. And then you've got 2 views. One is the web view, which is pretty much exactly the same as the PDF view, but it might, obviously depends how complex the legal pack is. But summary is maybe 3 or 4 pages, and it covers the key details that we think anybody who's looking for a property will be looking at. We do go through every document that we've got. We do make sure that we cover all the details, and you can summarize it in about 8 separate sections. So it's about 3 or 4 pages of readable content and understandable content where we make clear, especially things that are costs that people aren't aware of that may well be in special conditions. We make that really clear that when you buy this property, there's another £3,000 that you need to pay for X, Y, or Z, or sometimes there's nothing to worry about. We'll just produce it. Every single section has actions that will say if there's something that needs to be done. But there are plenty of properties out there that don't necessarily need much thought, but we will make sure that anything that is a concern is highlighted. And one thing to bear in mind is that we're not offering advice, right? This is not legal advice. This is a legal pack summary. It's to make it easier for you and to enable you to make a decision before you need to enlist the services of a solicitor, and you may well not need to enlist the services of a solicitor after looking at a document.
Fantastic. So to summarise, Aucspace is a platform where people can go and download an auction pack review for £95, and that
including
is
that.
obviously a lot less expensive than what's there currently. It's all digital, and obviously we mentioned that should the packs be updated prior to the auction, then the person that has downloaded one will get a notification that there's been a change. So it's very real time in that respect as well. And then we've obviously got the website itself as a resource to go and look at different auctions and different lots, and to do all your kind of pre-auction due diligence in one place.
In one place, yeah. And we'll be adding more to it. So keep your eyes open and keep looking. It will change constantly over the next few months.
Okay, well, it's very exciting to be on this journey with you, Andy. We do love Aucspace. We know it's going to prove very popular with the property investor community. And this is just the first of what I hope will be more interviews with you and more content that we can generate together to help property investors get the most out of auctions. Because as we've been saying, they are going to be a definite sales channel of the future. And obviously, so much going online now, more people can get involved and bid from the comfort of your own home. So it is a changing space, and I see, and Nick agrees with me, we see that Aucspace is a big part of those very positive changes coming to buying at auction.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, it's lovely to meet you, Andy. So Aucspace are sponsoring our auction tribe. If you're interested to know more, which I hope you are, we will put some links underneath the video so you can go and visit the site and start having a look around. And if you've got any questions for Andy, please do drop them below this video on the thread, because I'm sure we can get any answers from Andy that you may need. Any questions that you have, Andy will be happy to answer. So thank you, Andy. Lovely to meet you. Thank you for your support of Property Tribes. And we're very much looking forward to being on this exciting journey with you.
And we're looking forward to being on your platform. Thank you very much.
Well, all the best, and we'll catch up again soon. Thank you, Andy.
Okay, thanks a lot. Cheers.